When Rinku Singh hit Yash Dayal for 5 sixes to win an improbable game for the Kolkata Knight Riders against the Gujarat Titans in 2023, he ended up catapulting himself to national superstardom and eventually earning a spot in India's T20I team. But not a lot was said about what potentially let's say it was experienced by Yash Dayal, the bowler who was unfortunate enough to give away those 5 consecutive 6s and who after that not only lost out on his spot in the Gujarat Titans but ended up getting released by them and then joined RCB in the auction, admittedly for a hefty price, but with many still questioning the logic as to why exactly RCB would go for a bowler who, in their opinion, was not exactly one of the best at that point in time and whose stock was at an all-time low. However, one thing we often tend to forget is that athletes, at the end of the day, superhuman as they may seem, are human beings, and now Dayal himself has opened up on the kind of struggles that he'd had to go through during that particular period, admitting that he actually regretted going through the abuse that he got on social media and also said that he felt hurt, and more importantly, he even ended up suffering through health issues due to that particular, let's say, incident or that incident wherein 5 sixes were hit off his bowling and he ended up losing a lot of confidence. It's pretty harrowing to hear. We'll go over some of what it is that he said, starting with, of course, the social media abuse that he ended up copping in the aftermath. He said that after the GT versus KKR game in 2023, I was asked not to see or look at what is being said on social media, but I did anyway and it hurt. Now, of course, I must say whoever it is who warned him, and this included family members, teammates and the like, were pretty wise to tell him not to look at social media. But of course, Yash Dayal, youngster, wanted to know what exactly was being said, ended up looking, and by his own admission, he regretted it because some of the things that were being said were very, very nasty. In fact, it affected him very badly, doubly so because in his own words, he said, the kind of background I came from, it's not easy making it from there. As he said, I felt hurt about what people thought of me at that point in time. It hurt more when they don't also realize what background it is that I come from. Now, like a lot of cricketers in this country, Yash Dayal too, someone who came from rather humble means, had to work very hard to get to where he's at. Not exactly the youngest player right now, he's in his mid-20s, but in the couple of seasons that he had for Gujarat Titans, barring 2023 where of course the 5 sixes took place, his career nosedive. In 2022, very impressive for a Gujarat Titans side that won the title. However, after that, the kind of fall that he himself experienced, saying it's something that really affected him, and it affected him not just mentally, which of course anyone would be if they were subjected to that much abuse on social media, but it manifested itself physically as well. So how exactly did he pull himself out of that sort of a situation? He said that, look, 2-3 days after the match finished, I ended up falling ill and ended up losing a lot of weight in the process as well. However, in hindsight, I know I was not the first person who's faced this situation, and therefore all I ended up doing was continue to work hard, focus on what it is that I could control, and also know that potentially I'm not the only one who's faced this. Many others have been whacked, perhaps not in similar fashion, but there were many who did end up getting, going through really bad days with the ball, through lean patches, but ended up coming out strong. That's what actually helped Dayal get through what he admits were very tough moments. And it is pretty, actually, let's say, sad to say that even now, he tends to be getting a little bit of the blowback from that particular match. I mean, at the end of the day, let's be fair, it was a freak knock from Rinku and it was only one match. It's not really fair to any athlete to let one match define their career, yet that is exactly what is seeming to be happening with Dayal, because during commentary of RCB's second game against the Punjab Kings, he was subject to a rather unfortunate jibe, unintended or otherwise, from former India cricketer Murali Karthik, who said that, on Yash Dayal being acquired in the auction by RCB, he said that, yes, someone's trash is someone's treasure. Now, it of course comes from an old English saying, which is saying one man's trash is another man's treasure, but referring or inferring that Yash Dayal would potentially be a trash of the Gujarat Titans did not go down very well with a lot of people. He ended up getting quite a bit of blowback on social media, and even the Royal Challengers Bangalore ended up putting out a response to that particular comment without, of course, name-checking Murali Karthik. This is what they said. Put a picture of Yash Dayal and captioned it, "His treasure, period." Now, it's a good show of support really from RCB to back their player so positively and overwhelmingly on social media, because again, a lot of the chatter that would have been generated from that particular comment came across on social media. So wise of RCB to acknowledge it subtly, but not necessarily name check anyone, and give Yash Dayal the vote of confidence that he needed. And of course, the vote of confidence must also come from the fact that Dayal, so far in the first 2 games of this year's IPL, has looked very, very impressive. In fact, dare I say he's probably been the most impressive pace bowler in the RCB rank so far. Now, admittedly, not high praise, but we also remember that they've had an Alzari Joseph playing for them in the first 2 games, and they've also got an India regular in Mohammad Siraj. Then Dayal being their best performer, considering the lows that he was at after the 2023 season, the midway point. He'd lost a spot in the Gujarat Titans side, ended up falling ill, definitely was affected mentally, released, and now, well, he's found himself a new franchise and seems to be flourishing there. It's also a good reminder to a lot of fans that whatever else you may think about your athletes, they are at the end of the day human, and it's perhaps always nice to think about that before saying one too many mean things on social media and negatively impacting someone's life. So what are your thoughts on, let's say, the amount of abuse that Dayal had to receive? Do you think it was unfair? What is it, do you think, that can be done to ensure that this doesn't happen in the future? And what do you think about how his season is going so far? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've posted as well. For now though, from my side though, it is goodbye.